Okay, live once again, and I do hope that you'll forgive me for not doing two videos last week. Uh, just super hectic. Um, anyway, um, so I've come into the office today, and like sometimes you never know what'll happen. Um, you never know if somebody's going to come in and want to talk about, who knows what, right? Um, I think that's one of the great things about ministry is, you might expect a day to go a certain way, and it just turns out that, doesn't doesn't turn out the way that you think. And so you end up interacting and serving and listening and doing a lot of things that maybe you didn't plan for, but that's good. That's why you're there, to serve others. And so one of our members here, and I'm not going to go too much into detail, um, just for her sake, but one of our members here, who I love, you know, so much, has been, facing some real, very, very difficult issues at home. Uh, and I'll just say that she has scriptural grounds to divorce. She has that, uh, abuse, other things, um, and there have been a lot of we've had a lot of discussions, and we've discussed that it would be the right thing to do. It would be okay. It would be good for her to just move forward. Move past. Go ahead and get the divorce, and then she will be freed up to serve the Lord, because this has become a huge, um, not just a stumbling block, but a barricade around her, where she is unable to serve in ways where she could, because of the home life that she's really trapped in. And so we've discussed this several times. Um, and it just kind of made me think, because I've seen God work in my own life and kind of push me in a direction. And maybe you felt that way too sometimes, that God, for whatever reason, there's just these things that keep happening, and it's like, all right, um, okay, I see what you're trying to tell me here, but I'm not sure yet. I'm going to continue in doing what I am doing versus change my mind here, and uh, go down this different route. Maybe we think it's a more difficult route. Um, and so I found myself in that position. She's found herself in that position. She's an older lady, and again, I won't get too into details with this, but it seems that there's a direction that God is pushing her in. Um, and so you may find yourself, or may have found yourself, in a position like that before, where it just seems like God is kind of pushing you in a direction, but for whatever reason you decide, I'm not ready, or I'm not strong enough, or I don't know whether this is the right thing to do or not. Um, but it just made me think about Jonah. It made me think about Jonah. He was told by God, "This is the direction you're going to go in. You're going to go to Nineveh. I'm sending you there, and you're going to speak." Um, and Jonah said, "No, I'm not going to do that, Lord." He runs away. He flees from God. And of course, we know, once God had a vision for him, once God had a purpose and a plan for Jonah, that was not going to change no matter what. So Jonah could have saved himself a lot of trouble by just listening to God to begin with and just going straight to Nineveh. Instead, he was put on a ship, going in the opposite direction, thrown into the sea. Jonah knowing very well that it was his fault that the storm had come, and was swallowed by the big fish and had to stay there for 3 days in the belly of the fish, only to be vomited out onto the shore and sent in the direction that God intentionally and initially sent Jonah in the very beginning, back to Nineveh. So I say this all because if it seems, I think very strongly about God's providence that we can see it. I don't believe that, God whispers auditorily in our ears. I don't believe that. Um, we don't have direct revelation today, as during the time of the prophets and the apostles. We don't have that. But what we can see is God working in the world and in our lives to put us in different positions. I mean, on a personal note, I saw this with my divorce. I always thought that, growing up, and I've always been taught, one, that it's avoidable, it's always avoidable, uh, and two, that you should never give up, like, for any reason whatsoever. Um, and just a bunch of these other ideas about it. I never thought that it was the right decision to make, until God kept coming at me again and again and again and again, and just reinforcing that this was the right decision, not just a decision, not just favorable for me, but a right decision. And a lot of people may feel very weird about that. Okay, when is divorce ever the right thing to do? It was the right thing to do. And I needed some convincing of that. I needed convincing of that. So I allowed it to go on for longer than, you know, I feel like a lot of people would. Um, just the, yeah, just allowed it to go on longer than, but God kept doing these things, and things kept happening in my life and the world around me, where it was just like, yep, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. And every time that I waited, it just seemed like God was pushing in that direction more and more. Could have saved myself a lot of heartache by just listening to him right away. Um, but God does that. He pushes us in a direction sometimes in our lives. Uh, he may push us to make very difficult decisions, um, decisions that are illogical in our thinking. But it seems like every time you turn around, God is pushing you that direction. So I'm praying for this woman that came in today and was talking with me, and praying for her. But I'm also praying for you, that perhaps maybe if you're in a situation like this, or know of someone in a situation like this, that you might be encouraged, that you might uh, be mindful of Jonah, uh, and be mindful of the fact that if God's going to push you in a direction, and He wants you somewhere, so that you might serve Him better, so that you might be what you are called to be, then we have to listen. And God, He's going to make it happen. He's just going to make it happen. Um, like we have no say in the matter. Somehow, some way, He will, if that is His will for us in our lives. Uh, so I just hope that you're mindful of this today. Maybe this helps someone with some of the difficult things that they're dealing with in their life now. I hope that you aren't in trial, but if you are, uh, I rejoice for you, because it seems that when we are in trial, that's when we see God the most. That's when we see Him working in our world the most. Um, so I rejoice for you, but I pray for you, and I hope things will work out. If you are in a trial now, if you're not, then be thankful. Be thankful, uh, and rejoice in the blessings that God gives you each and every day. Truly, He showers us with blessings, and our cup just overflows, because of His wonderful love for us. And so, anyway, I hope that you're encouraged today. I hope that um, you're tuning in, and we are on this break from the podcast, and I'm starting to get antsy. Like, I want to get back into it, and it's good that we're having this little break. Um, but I'm very excited for season 3. And Logan and I are going to be planning on that, and excuse me, we're going to be working on that and getting that pre-planned for the season. So anyway, have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and God bless.